So they're now trying to tell us what we've known for years, that Jeffrey Epstein had a huge client list of influential billionaires, movie stars, politicians, heads of state. They're now telling us that that little black book doesn't exist. That little black book is meaningless. Jeffrey Epstein didn't have a client list. There's nobody that we should be looking at. He was just a pedophile flying on a plane, and it's just a coincidence that Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein know every underage girl in West Palm Beach. I did see it reported that people online had noticed that there is a portion of that video that they released that is missing. A minute is not much, but it may be just enough, folks. But what do you say we get right into the big lie, right? You guys know the big lie. We've all heard Trump. We've all heard MAGA. We've all heard Republicans talk about the big lie as it pertains to the 2020 election. No. The real big lie is what's happening right now with the Epstein files, Pam Bondi, the FBI, and Donald J. Trump. That is the big lie. This is the cover-up of the century, that we have a pedophile president that is willing to have the DOJ and the FBI destroy, burn, shred, whatever they did, whatever they're doing. They got rid of these Epstein files. They changed or in some way fucking had something to do with transforming this story into now trying to get everybody to believe that there was no client list. The president of the United States, who is directly involved with Jeffrey Epstein for over 20 years at parties here and there, flying on private jets, the Lolita Express, on the flight logs more than 5, 6, 7 times, has now instructed Pam Bondi, who, I will play you a clip, said that she had the client list on her desk. It wasn't en route. She didn't have somebody that she talked to that had it. It was on her desk. The president of the United States, who is directly involved in criminality as it pertains to Jeffrey Epstein, has now instructed the FBI and the DOJ to lie directly to your face. And not only does the left not buy this bullshit, but MAGA ain't buying it either. Okay? But the backflips and the somersaults that they're trying to do right now in order to remove Donald Trump from this situation and only get mad at some fictional they, at some fictional them, some fictional behind-the-scenes characters that won't let this out, that have somehow got a hold of Pam Bondi's brain and the FBI's fucking leadership with Kash Patel and Dan Bongagino. But they're not buying it either, folks. So when Elon Musk started stirring up the hornet's nest with his tweet saying what we already knew, it seems like that got under Donald Trump's skin. Yeah, take a look at what's going on Rumble. If you just type in Epstein files on Rumble, they're talking about it. Here's Benny Johnson, the shocking story of Jeffrey Epstein's deep connection to the CIA. Let's see here. The Jimmy Dore Show talking about it. Case closed on the Epstein files. Nick Fuentes is talking about it. Benny Johnson again. Stu Peters is talking about it. Real America's Voice is talking about it. They're all talking about it. These people are not falling for it. They're not taking it at face value. They understand that they're being duped here. Here you go. So this is NBC News. This is DOJ memo dismissing Epstein conspiracy sparks conservative anger. The memo said an internal review found no evidence of Jeffrey Epstein client list. Now, we've heard of the black book, right? Everybody knows about the little black book. We've seen the flight logs, or at least some of them. And what they did is they released this video, which eagle-eyed people online found that it was missing a little section of that video in the timeline. So let's see if we can jump into this video. Let's see if this gives us a little bit more information on what the DOJ and the FBI had to say and what that video contained. I did see that reported. So let's see if this video gets into a little bit more, okay?
New details this morning in the case of Jeffrey Epstein, with the Justice Department and FBI releasing video of the hallway outside his jail cell on the night he took his own life in 2019, showing no one went in. The DOJ also released a 2-page...
So hold on. Let me see if you go back. I don't see on this. It must be covered up by the Today Show Chiron here, but there is a timeline where you can see the running time on it. And people did notice, let's see if it's reported in this, that there was time missing. A minute is not much, but it may be just enough, folks.
Releasing video of the hallway outside his jail cell on the night he took his own life in 2019, showing no one went in. The DOJ also released a two-page, undated, unsigned memo on Monday, confirming the financier and convicted sex offender died by suicide in federal prison while awaiting trial on
Can I just further inform you? That was under Trump's administration. So while Donald Trump was in office, I just want to throw that in there, just to remind you a little bit, that tidbit of this story.
sex trafficking charges. The DOJ says it found no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals, concluding Epstein did not maintain a client list.
What a bucket of horse shit, ladies and gentlemen. So they're now trying to tell us what we've known for years, that Jeffrey Epstein had a huge client list of influential billionaires, movie stars, politicians, heads of state. They're now telling us that little black book doesn't exist. That little black book is meaningless. Jeffrey Epstein didn't have a client list. There's nobody that we should be looking at. He was just a pedophile flying on a plane, and it's just a coincidence that Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein know every underage girl in West Palm Beach. That's just, I guess, the coincidence in this whole thing. Can you believe this bullshit? The cover-up of the century, ladies and gentlemen. Our pedophile president instructing his own DOJ, instructing the FBI to misinform, to disinform the citizenry because of his criminality and his involvement with Jeffrey Epstein and this client list and being on the flight logs and still owning the jet that Jeffrey Epstein flew. As Hal says, never living more than a 5 or 7 minute cab ride away from Jeffrey Epstein. We've seen him in the pictures, ladies and gentlemen. You don't get pictures like this. You don't get a list of pictures like this from never knowing a guy, right? This doesn't come from never knowing somebody. This doesn't come from never knowing somebody, right? This doesn't come from never knowing somebody. Watching young girls dance on the dance floor as you talk about lewd acts that you'd like to perform on them. That doesn't just happen by not knowing somebody. You don't put your hand on the shoulder. You don't get Jeffrey Epstein to bend over and walk away in embarrassment from what you said if you're not a disgusting pig yourself because you were P. Diddy before P. Diddy was P. Diddy. You gonna lie to my face? No, the left ain't. We've been saying for years, we don't care who the on this list, left, right, powerful, weak, rich, poor, send them away. I don't care if there's got a D in front of their name or an R in front of their name or an I in front of their name. Get them the out of here. We've been saying that for years, and our story and our stance hasn't changed on this fact. But what has changed is the fact that people like Alex Jones, who have made their careers on conspiracy theories, who have made their careers talking about Jeffrey Epstein and the high-profile clientele that he had. When you talk about the Republicans on the whole in their supposed and fake fight to save children, to save and put away sex traffickers when they themselves have more pedophiles and sex traffickers in their party than any other party in the country. There's more priests, there's more youth pastors getting locked up, and those conservative bastards preach every single day against Democrats and how they're demons. Yeah, they got the kiddie porn on their computer when they go home. It's funny how you can look up a list of Republicans a mile long that have been arrested for sexual abuse, sexual acts on children, pedophilia, rape, abuse. Pretty funny how that happens. And this doesn't just happen when you don't know somebody, when you haven't been friends with them for 20 years, when you don't fly on the private jet with them and underage girls, right? So you don't wish Ghislaine Maxwell well as she's going to prison for trafficking and being the madame, right? The ringleader, basically, in recruiting young girls to work for Jeffrey Epstein. And Donald Trump's wishing her well. I used to have the drop. I don't think I have the drop anymore. But we got Donald Trump wishing Ghislaine Maxwell well as she goes to prison. That doesn't happen if you're not friendly with people. That doesn't happen if you don't know them. And then you got these assholes that will talk about Jack Posobiec and I don't know if Cat Turd's involved in that, and these morons that came out thinking that they had the end all be all for the Epstein files when they got duped, when we had more information in the public than they had in their little stupid binders. All right, so before I get off on a tangent, I don't want to get off on a tangent. My apologies. My apologies. It irks me that they think that they can, try to pull the wool over our eyes just by telling us and trying to say there is no client list.
Used to traffic underage girls. It's a striking reversal of a past statement by the head of the Justice Department, Attorney General Pam Bondi. In February, Bondi was asked by Fox News about a possible client list.
Here we go. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Listen up. Listen up. Because apparently Pam Bondi has no problem looking like an incompetent moron, looking like a liar, straight on national television in order to save Donald Trump's ass. Because here she is on Fox News. Here she is, Pam Bondi on Fox News, telling us that she has the client list on her desk. On her desk. And now all of a sudden there's no client list. There's no there. And you want us to believe that bullshit? Get out of here. Here, take a listen. I'll replay it one more time.
In February, Bondi was asked by Fox News about a possible client list.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump.
I'm sorry. What was that? One more time. Where was that thing?
Releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now.
It's sitting on my desk right now. The head of the DOJ, the most powerful law enforcement officer in the country, Pam Bondi, telling us that she has this client list on her desk. Not somebody else has it, not a friend has it, not somebody saw it in an email, not it's a memo on the way, not it's some secret phone call that she received from some anonymous source. It's on her desk. It went all the way up the chain and made it to the head of the DOJ. And now, a few months later, the DOJ and the FBI, instructed by Donald Trump without a doubt, has now put out a memo trying to get you to believe that there's no client list, there's no there. We shouldn't be looking for any pedophiles. There's no sick individuals out there that engage sex acts with children that we should be looking for. None of that actually happened. That was all just a figment of your imagination. So here we go. One more time. The head of the DOJ, the most powerful law enforcement officer in the country, in the United States of America, telling you to your face on Fox News that she has this list that supposedly doesn't exist on her desk.
Be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive, President Trump.
There she is, getting out in front of the American people to lie directly to their face. Here's Caroline Levitt.
She was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes.
Bondi has faced fierce
Bull. Make sure you hit the like button, share, and subscribe. I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics. We're taking a look at the cover-up of the century right now as our pedophile president has instructed his DOJ and the FBI to lie directly to the American public to tell us that there is no client list. There is no Jeffrey Epstein client list, even though we know about the little black book, even though we've known these details for years, even though we know there's powerful billionaires, politicians, governors, heads of state all over the world that have been involved with these crimes. They're now trying to get you to believe, under the direction of Donald Trump, who is directly involved in the criminally, to wipe the slate, to tell you that this never happened. There is no client list.